Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X System, Brown and Black Dwarfs with High Magnetic Field. Now, in Article 315 entitled Rogue Planet with a Magnetic Field 200 times Stronger than Jupiter's, I wrote about a brown dwarf with the designation SIMP J013, etc., which is also the brightest T-type brown dwarf in the Northern Hemisphere. I concluded that the object is an energy-depleted star and therefore a stellar core. This suggests that the large stellar cores we observe in the solar system are in fact brown and black dwarfs. The brown dwarfs would be the stellar cores which can only emit infrared light when they come into the solar system, and the black dwarfs would emit no light whatsoever. Brown dwarfs are known to have a strong magnetic field, which suggests that they are stars, not substellar objects. The observation of stellar cores in the solar system and their energy draining effect on the sun has revealed that the energy inside a star's particles is associated to its electric and gravitational fields, which drop dramatically when energy is low. And since energy drops with age, so will a star's electric and gravitational fields. But the magnetic field remains strong for much longer because it is not connected to energy but to the magnetic orientation of metallic elements in the core. Since the core is solid, these would remain in the same orientation even as the photon energy in the star's particles drops. Thus, brown dwarfs are actually energy-depleted stars and therefore stellar cores. This would mean that the system of objects which I have named Planet X System, which has been invading the solar system for at least 170 years, and you may look at Article 146 entitled Planet X System, Time of Arrival for more details, is actually a system of brown and black dwarfs, as well as smaller stellar cores which would have been planets and moons in a star system before the central star in that system died. And here we see some of the stellar cores in the sun's corona. As you can see, one of these is still black. It's not emitting any light in this wavelength. This is 171 angstrom, so it's emitting no ultraviolet light, most likely because it hasn't been here for long enough to have absorbed enough of the sun's corona to have its own atmosphere. There is another one here, you can see its outline here, which has absorbed coronal plasma and is now emitting light from it. And so this one has most likely been here much longer. This particular one, a size comparison with the sun, reveals that it's about half the size of Jupiter. Now, the original theory regarding brown dwarfs was that they were old and aging stars on the way to becoming black dwarfs. When I studied astrophysics theory as a student, this is what I was taught. This idea seems to have been recently scrubbed from the internet. The reason for this appears to be that the objects in the solar system, which I have called stellar cores, are old stars that have lost the ability to emit light and may just be able to emit weak infrared radiation when they first arrive at the sun's corona. These objects have also been observed time and again to be striped like Jupiter is, and like brown dwarfs are supposed to be, as indicated in Figure 1, where we see that artist's impression. Furthermore, brown dwarf experts believe that they would look magenta, and the objects in the solar system often emit magenta light when they interact with the Earth and absorb energy from it. Is this a coincidence? No, I don't think so. What this means is that the old theory of brown dwarfs is the theory that most closely fits both what stellar cores are and what brown dwarfs many light years from Earth are. They are old or energy-depleted stars, and they will draw energy from living stars just like the stellar cores or brown dwarfs in the solar system do. In other words, stellar cores and brown dwarfs are one and the same object. And here we see one of the stellar cores in the sun's corona. This one is about 4 times larger than the Earth. And as you can see, it is striped. The stripes are curved following the contours of a spherical object. So these are stripes on a spherical object. And this shows that the stellar cores actually look like what a brown dwarf is supposed to look like. In other words, have stripes. And we know that stellar cores are, of course, old stars. But now we know that brown dwarfs are old stars as well. So again, what we have is a brown dwarf in the sun's corona. However, there is a way to differentiate planets from stars, and that is through the ability that stars have to eject material outwards and produce a ring structure around itself. A very large and young star will then be likely to produce a large ring-like structure, which is called a planetary nebula. These planetary nebula are usually associated with dead stars, but the fact that a star is able to maintain such huge ring-like structures indicates instead that it has a lot of energy and is most likely young. This means that supernovae may not be due to the death of a star, but a birth of a star. We know that the death of a star, what the death of a star looks like. The stellar cores have shown it to us. Stars end up not being able to emit light due to the loss of the electric and gravitational fields, because these are associated to the photon energy within the particles making it up. Over its lifetime, a star uses this energy to generate light, a solar wind and CMEs, which feed its capacitor rings or nebula clouds. But when the reservoir of unstable nuclei in its core is depleted, the star starts dying and turns into a zombie, absorbing energy from any other living star it encounters and killing it. And you may look at article 244 entitled The Planet X System, Destroyer of Star Systems for more details on that. This means that smaller stars like Jupiter and Saturn seem to be, as they both have small ring structures around them, are small stars. And you may look at article 132 entitled Survey of the Orion Nebula, Jupiter and Saturn may be stars, and article 169 entitled Planetary Formation, Comets to Planets. They both also have a huge amount of lightning in their atmospheres. The fact that Jupiter is striped while Saturn is not may then be an indication that Jupiter is older than Saturn and is at a stage in its life when it has already developed that particular brown dwarf feature, stripes. Now, if Jupiter and Saturn are both stars, how can we say that brown dwarfs larger than Jupiter are substellar objects? It is not possible. Brown dwarfs have to be stars, but their low energy light emission, in other words infrared light emission, indicates that they are energy depleted and so can no longer produce capacitor rings. Thus brown dwarfs are aging stars or energy depleted stars or stellar cores. In conclusion, brown dwarfs have strong magnetic fields like stars because they are old or energy depleted stars or stellar cores and not substellar objects. This agrees with the old theory of stellar evolution in which brown dwarfs were aging stars that had lost the ability to emit visible light, could only emit infrared light, and were on their way to becoming black dwarfs, at which stage they would not emit any light at all. This view of brown dwarfs has been scrubbed from the internet. The reason for this appears to be that the powers that be are terrified that the scientific community and the Earth's population will find out that we have a system of brown dwarfs or energy depleted stars in the solar system, and that these objects are destroying the sun and causing a slowly progressing or long-term cataclysmic event on the Earth. And here are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.